Welcome to Football is Nice, with me, Russell Brand, and Gareth Roy and Jenny May Finn talking about the week's footballing events and allowing our minds to roam freely down synaptic tangents. Expressing ourselves freely, using the beautiful game as a kind of framework for discussing and understanding reality, as if such a thing were possible. You're right, Gal.
Yeah, your daughter's currently tapping my knee.
Yeah, Mabel's in
with her head
in the room. She won't be able to remain here if she carries on with this. What she's doing is she's man marking you, Gal.
Absolutely,
and don't
very
let it get
tight
inside your head.
No, it's tough.
That's right.
She's got real will about her.
It's a sort of like I don't know. It's like Vinnie Jones or them sort of famous Italian defenders of like the 90s that would really mess with forwards and prevent you playing your natural game.
It's effective.
I'm wearing. Before we get into our attire, which we will discuss, I just will mention I'm wearing the this season's current West Ham kit. Like it?
I like it a lot. I think it's got loads of great elements to it. The collar, I'm always a big fan of a shirt with a collar.
It's a bit restrictive around the old neck hole, mate, isn't it?
For you it is. I'm surprised you haven't taken some scissors to it.
I'm very tempted. I put it on for the first time now, and it's like, there's literally no neck. I've not noticed that when I've been watching football, that it's right. Mikel Antonio's neck must be like the trunk of an oak tree. So how he gets it on is a mystery.
This is the only area in your life where you'd be willing to accept that level of collar and tightness, isn't it?
Look at what this is. A perfect example of what we'll tolerate for our love of our football teams. I would not usually advertise a betting firm.
No.
Like sometimes I see in the comments on Instagram and stuff, like, why are you advertising a betting firm? Because it's on the kit. That's why. I lose all of my objectivity, all of my discernment because of the love of West Ham. I wouldn't normally allow something to be this close to my neck. You're advertising a betting team for Hull. What shirt are you wearing?
Oh, this is the Hull away kit from 2014, which you actually bought me as a birthday present. This is the former Tom Huddleston. Well, it is Tom Huddleston's key. He wore this, and I think that's why you bought it for me.
So that's got Huddleston Musk on it.
Yep, and it's got his name on the back. That's
cool.
That's
the
real deal, mate.
That's been in and that's when Hull were in the Premier League.
That's right.
I noticed.
It's even more relevant as you know, Huddleston is back for Hull.
Huddleston has done the circular journey, which is one of the things we'll be asking about. We've got your tweets about what have you done in order to meet a player. Few reviews here, just like the old days, says someone, giving us 5 stars as requested. It's Jamie's in Seoul. So I presume
How old does he mean?
It's not like the old days as in pre-technology. It's so old that it's as if language hasn't been invented. It's a series of grunts and shouts.
Yeah.
It's disappointing. It's the old days where life was a struggle, where survival itself took its toll. I think he means, he says, Chaos Russ and Gareth in the archetypal role of the Matt Morgan figure, who we used to do radio with, is a forward pairing for the ages. Get Keano on, lads. People want us to get Roy Keane on. I'd say Roy Keane, Simon Jordan are the guests I'm currently most fetishising.
Your top trumps.
They're my top trumps. And although today, Conor's coming on. What's Conor's surname?
Moore.
Conor Moore's coming on. He's a brilliant impersonator. Many of you might follow him on YouTube. He's one of those impersonators that thinks, oh my God, like when you watch him, you think that's that person's voice is coming out of someone else's head.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make sense. Although like a lot of impersonators, like say when Alistair McGowan was the impersonator of the day, and then because it was television, they'd have to try and make themselves look
like them.
But Alistair McGowan had a very distinctive and particular face, and he couldn't really make himself look like anyone.
No, I remember Rory Bremner pulling it off well. It was like he was able to. He looks a bit like Paddy Ashdown. There's a reference.
Paddy Ashdown, the Liberal Democrats leader
from about 30 years ago.
Oh, Ashdown, Paddy Padsdown, they called him, former SAS member. Yeah, let's not alienate anyone who's not really old. We already talked about the threat of nuclear war. If you're scared of nuclear war, you are probably 40, or at least 40, I would say. If you're blasé about nuclear war and a bit neurotic about drug use, you're in your 30s. We were discussing how public information campaigns change, how the things that you're scared of changes over time. And I'm 46. That's the fact of the matter. So I was bombarded, ironically, with lots of information about nuclear war. Although, why give people public information films about nuclear war? Because there's not a lot we could do about it. Nuclear war. It's not like, like the public information films like Don't Smoke in the House or Don't Let Your Rug Slip You Up and Dash Your Brains Out or Get a Smoke Alarm. Nuclear weapons. What am I meant to do about that? Go to and negotiate with Khrushchev and Gorbachev right now, because otherwise this Cold War will continue.
Here we go, listeners. You watch now Russell Brand link nuclear war to this week's football. Come on, Ross. You know you can do it.
Well, talking about a Cold War standoff, talking about a power battle between great giants, the Champions League is starting, and those petrodollar billionaire clubs, Paris Saint-Germain and Man City, will be in action. It's power. Power's what connects the nuclear war to this week's football.
He can do it with anything.
I can connect anything to anything. It's a sort of mental illness.
But yeah, this has been Ronaldo week, hasn't it? I think it should be dubbed Ronaldo week. Yeah. It was his return. I mean, obviously, football moves extremely fast. We've gone from Man United winning the league, which I predicted slightly jokingly at the weekend, to Man United losing in the Champions League, even though Ronaldo scored in both those games. But
I think it's like if you're playing a team called Young Boys, that they're at a disadvantage already. I think.
Yeah,
like their name undermines them.
Yeah, how much confidence can you have going into a game knowing that you're called Young Boys?
Because your name is a Village People song almost. In fact, you're a bit younger than them, because that's young man. Like you're a man, and you're a young man. Probably the best thing to be on the scale of masculinity. Perhaps you could argue, but young boy, what? You're basically a baby.
Do you think they use that, in their favour? Do you think they kind of take that there's a negative
connotation?
Yeah. Although, do you know what? I was listening to the commentary of that game. And at the end, apparently the atmosphere in that stadium was absolutely incredible. Kind of Dortmund levels of incredible.
Where are Young Boys?
Swiss, isn't it? The Swiss
Asking
champions.
for a friend. They're the champions of Switzerland.
Yeah.
Ah, Jenny.
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch any Young Boy? You go to Switzerland.
No, I didn't see anything.
Hold on a minute.
I didn't see anything.
When you're in Switzerland, where you go regularly to go see your friend Justin Hawkins, erstwhile of the Darkness, and who makes the jingles for Under the Skin and stuff like that, do you go see Young Boys?
No, we don't go see Young Boys.
Why not?
I don't know which part of Switzerland are they from? The German or the Italian or the...
I don't know.
I can't break down Switzerland.
Every side is completely different. They don't understand each other. They don't share language.
It's weird that Switzerland says it's neutral when even within itself it's completely fraught.
They're based in Bern.
Oh, that's the German side.
Burn, baby, burn. Young boy inferno, burn, baby, burn.
He's at it again. So, yeah, how were you feeling about Ronaldo week? How were you feeling in terms of the excitement of...
Look, I've processed Ronaldo week when he came back and he made me feel like I needed to lose weight. How I've processed Ronaldo week is I'm intermittent fasting. I'm intermittent fasting. I'm starving, hungry all the bloody time. You have to be careful with intermittent fasting, apparently, because it could provoke you off into an eating disorder, which I had when I was a young boy. There's a place you could go. It's called Burn, baby. So I've been intermittent fasting. What I thought was amazing. I only see the highlights. And if you want I'll read one more review, then I'm going to do my roundup of the week.
Oh, I love the roundup.
Brilliant, funny, hilarious, good vibes, 5 stars. Lots of people. Love that the chat is a mix of historic and present football knowledge. Gets sidetracked with hilarious chats for 2 mates. That's from Pete N41. Leave a review for us wherever you listen to your podcast. Give it 5 stars. Remember, that's what I like. Now, my review for the week is as follows. This is that review of the week.
Breakdown, I think we used to call it.
It's Russell's football breakdown. If I press the wrong thing, do liberals use feminism to justify AFCO? Like there's all the other work we do, which is so much more intense. But here on Match of the Day, I noticed on Match of the Day that when the first shot of Ronaldo after they did the taking the knee, and which is getting applauded now, which I'm happy about. Actually, it's nice to see that taking the knees applauded. It just that's taken all of the pressure off that. That when the shot was of Ronaldo, which he must have known it was going to be, because he knows he's Ronaldo and he knows how important he is. He knows he's all his life he's Ronaldo, doesn't he? He's never in doubt of that. Surely, you don't wake up, I'm not Ronaldo. He adjusted himself in the reproductive organ area, just the whistle went and he touched himself.
Right.
And I think that's interesting because I notice as a male, I do that from time to time myself. I'm wondering what it's sort of about. And if you're they bother to cover their mouths now when they're talking because they don't want people lip reading in case they're saying something indiscreet. And I read this brilliant thing in The Athletic saying that kids and Sunday League players do
brilliant.
that now.
Fantastic.
Like it's become like that's entered the visual grammar or the behavioural grammar. Even though it's the reason to cover your mouth is because you're being filmed and you're a big star. And if you say something like, I hate my manager or I'm leaving, I'm going to another club, that would be in the news. People are doing it in Sunday League. It's amazing, isn't it? Like it's imitative. What interesting apes we are that we just observe that behaviour and it gets embedded.
So you say next Sunday all the kids will be adjusting themselves?
Yeah. They'll all be adjusting themselves, young boys. But like the thing is I just thought it's weird because Ronaldo must live with a level of scrutiny that's, you know, like wasn't it amazing when we spoke to David Seaman and he does that thing in his mind of doing a line to the middle of his chest to the middle of the goal to keep himself. So like Ronaldo must have a supreme ability to concentrate in order to do what he does. And like Danny Murphy went on one of the Talk Sport things I watched. He goes, well, you know, Ronaldo, he does exactly what it says on the tin. I thought, like Ron, and then he even continued, like Ron Seal. I go, no, he's not called, I'm a really good footballer and I will always perform at the top level, even in spite of the march of time, and I can rise to the big occasion. That's not his name. His name's Ronaldo. Yeah. That doesn't literally mean that.
Did Danny Murphy say that just because they both start with Ron?
That might have been in his mind. I wish I was there to say to Danny Murphy, that's different.
Yeah.
Like, there's nowhere on. Mind you, Ron Seal doesn't mean.
It doesn't actually.
But their slogan
becomes synonymous with, I guess.
That was a good bit of advertising.
Very good. Gets in your head, doesn't it?
It does exactly what it says on the tin.
Because people use that now.
On the tin?
Regardless, they get rid of Ron Seal now when people say it does what it says.
This program, yeah. If you're pitching a program,
yeah,
it does exactly what it says in the tin. Like football is nice, does exactly what it says in the tin. We talk about football. It's comedic. It's self-effacing, self-aware. Does exactly what it says on the tin.
And that's amazing, isn't it?
That's good. Whoever come up with
done.
Good branding, good marketing over at Ron Seal. And Danny Murphy, come on.
Not good marketing?
Think about your punditry, Danny. You're a good pundit.
Very
You're a
good.
Serious pundit.
He's
Danny.
He is.
He's quite serious, isn't he, Danny?
He is.
Like I'm a bit worried that he would hear this and he'd go, yeah, I don't appreciate you saying that. Whereas like a lot of people, you think, that'd be right. And even Roy Keane, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like you go, oh no, they're just
larking around.
Silly bollocks, aren't they? Like say something like that about us. That's what I think.
I saw Danny Murphy in Selfridges once.
What was he doing?
He was. I remember it because it was when I first moved to London.
Selfridges. That's exactly what it says in the tin. Although they do sell fridges, so actually it does do it. Although there's a variety of other things.
Yeah, I just moved to London and I went to, I mean, this is a complete sidetrack, but I was based in central London because I was at college. And I remember asking some people, where do I go and buy clothes? And I think because everyone was basically from quite well-off families, they said, I'll go to this place.
Who were you asking?
I was asking fellow students because I was at music college. It tends to be people from well-off backgrounds. Anyway, I won't go into it, but they said, go to this place called Selfridges. And I thought that was just where you went to shop, and then was flabbergasted at how expensive everything was in there, coming from Yorkshire as I do.
Especially if you go on the men's floor, where it would be, you know, there's a section where it's all designer brands that all have their own little booth.
Yeah.
You know, so you might go in the Christian Dior booth or the Tom Ford booth.
I'd never heard of any of these booths.
All these booths, you're going to drop a monkey and get yourself a jumper.
Yeah, well, I didn't do that, but I did see Danny Murphy. End of story.
Danny Murphy, he's up there, he not bothered.
Of course he's not, he's got loads
Even
of
in them days, he could just pick them up. He don't even look at the label. No. He probably don't even bother to take off the security tag. Walks out, oh, I'll see you in court. My lawyers will pay for it. They do exactly what they say on the tin. What are they called? Good lawyers.
That's why he's so serious now. All the lawsuits.
He's had to really start facing the facts about shoplifting. Anyway, we've gone, let's face it, that was a tangent. Because this is like the football review of the week. Later, we're going to be talking to Conor Moore, brilliant impersonator, and we're going to get him to do impersonations of coaches and that. But we're going to get him to say stuff that
not
they would
the
never say. No, definitely not. That'd be a waste of his talent, a total waste. But before that, there's still my football breakdown. Also, we'll be hearing some of your tweets and responses to our questions. What were our tweets and questions, mate?
Well, we had a couple. The one that has yielded the strongest results was about what lengths have you gone to meet players or managers?
Why was that
nice
a question?
I think because there was kind of comedic kind of element to it. And that it allowed. Oh, why was it? Oh,
yeah,
it was
why
because
are we even asking that?
It was because
good bit of analysis, though.
Thanks, mate. If you remember, after the Man United game against Newcastle, which they won 4-1, loads of the Man United fans stayed around in the stadium afterwards, which normally they don't, do they? They file out immediately. In fact, loads of people, which I'll never understand,
leave at 85 minutes or 80 minutes.
Or even earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times in games do people score in the last minute? It happens all the time. It happens every week that someone will do it, and yet fans are piling out. It's a weird one because they'll do it to get to leave early so that they don't get in the rush of fans. But it's like, what are you doing there in the first place?
If you follow that logic of like,
don't go at all.
You won't go at all.
No.
Wait a minute, I've worked out, don't go the 100 then, but then I'll still have to go to work, it still have to eat food, and I've got phone. I'm going to end my life.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way to eliminate this inconvenience of being, the resistance of being alive in the world. There's always resistance. You've got to eat food. You've got to go to the toilet. Well, I've had enough.
Yeah, I'm opting out.
Yeah.
I found it very strange.
Or they could just be on one of those battery things in the Matrix. Like they could plug a cable in the back of their head. I don't know in my life, that's too dramatic. I'm going to suspend myself in a bubble of fluid and just stay alive in a dream state.
Yeah, that's the future maybe. Or maybe already is the present.
Right, we're already in that, as in the Matrix, we're in that bubble already. And those people, all right, that's what's happened. Because when you're in a dream, like I'm trying to be, it's lucid dreaming, I think. When I'm in a dream now, Gal, I'm trying to go now. Because
what do you mean you're trying?
Like,
you know you're in the dream.
I'm trying to be a bit more savvy about it. Because like last night's dream, there's no way that could actually happen. Like I could be in this weird world of elevators with people that I was at drama school with, and people were using the coffee machine.
That bad so far.
It was quite nice.
I mean, how could it be possible that I was in an elevator with some people I know from school?
No, but it's a world of escalators. It wasn't one elevator. It was a world of escalators.
How do you know it was a world of escalators?
What I mean, it was as a totality. I like the concept of the world. Well, that's a good point, Jen. The concept of the world did not exist in this dream space. Like the totality of my visual and sensory experience was the total of reality. Like right now, even though we're just talking, we are carrying the concept of what's happening in Afghanistan now, what's happening around the coronavirus pandemic. All these things are sort of present realities. Or do you actually, when you're present in the moment, drop out of all of those realities?
I think you drop out.
You drop out of them. You're fully present. And like, so in a dream, I'm just saying in dreams, you should back your ideas up and go, hang on a minute, this isn't real. Everything's not escalators.
This is another one of your techniques.
It's a new technique.
Famous Russell Brand technique. New technique is get a hold of yourself in dreams.
Even in dreams.
Your ideas up.
You think you're in pressure when you're awake? What about pressure when you're dreaming as well? Right, hold on, this dream's taking too long. If I leave 10 minutes before the end of the dream, I can miss the traffic when people re-enter consciousness. What I feel like, this is right, it has changed a bit, because you alluded to this, Gal, when I was watching the United game. I saw the excitement and energy. I thought, United are going to win the league. That's what I thought.
Exactly. You just felt like it's the old United. Immediately, it felt like they play badly, but they'll win. It'll either be that they'll, like they did the other day, they scored a bunch of goals, even though Newcastle seemed to play pretty well.
When they got that goal back? When
they got the goal back, but also, United didn't have it all the round way, didn't they? They were drawing at one point, they were only 2-1 up. It was only really later on that they got that bit of distance between them and Newcastle. But it just still felt like of course they'll win. They've got Ronaldo now. So it does feel like the United of old. And I think that's what leads you into thinking, well, how could they lose now? Yeah. They'll just win because Ronaldo's there.
It made me very excited about, going, West Ham have got United.
I know, this Sunday.
And like, I started to get excited though about what's going to happen when Chelsea play United? Like these games start to be. It is an exciting season, I think, isn't it?
I heard Gary Neville talking about the fact that this is the greatest Premier League season ever. The level of quality now, in especially those top four teams, is outrageous. Because I know that even with Liverpool against Leeds, a lot of pundits waxing lyrical about how good Liverpool were, and they're not even being talked about at the moment, is it? It's like they didn't buy anyone, so they're not going to challenge. But you've got Liverpool looking like they're back to somewhere near their best, and then Chelsea just again, Lukaku is just
that pass from, how do you say his name, Kovacevic or whatever.
Was it
Kovacevic? The pass to Lukaku for who's that one that's in midfield?
Aspilicueta, was it? No,
Kovacevic or Kovic.
Kovacic.
Kovacic.
I see, sorry.
I find it very hard to learn an Eastern European name
Yeah.
unless I write it down.
Yeah, he scored as well, didn't he?
He scored, and that ball for Lukaku was amazing. So, the absolute top level, the top 4 games are going to be exciting. Although they won't be exciting, they'll be nullifying,
Let's hope
stifling,
not.
0-0 affairs
Let's
governed
hope
by
not.
caution. But for now we can. Right, you notice now. These are somewhat critiques or observations about Match of the Day. Gary Lineker's started opening with a joke.
Yes.
He started opening with a joke. Let's see if he does it next week. The week before he did a joke, like this week's joke was, and it was the return of a figure to Old Trafford. And Steve Bruce.
Yeah.
Now, which I thought Gareth won't like that because he loves Steve Bruce and he won't like to see Steve Bruce criticised.
I'm just happy that he gets mentioned.
They didn't include the 1 minute 9/11 in the United because the United story I think had too much freight, Ronaldo, etc. They did include the Black Lives Matter taking the knee in the applause. Then the next game that they showed, I think it was Palace Spurs, they included the minute silence for the victims of 9/11. And I thought, wow, from an editorial perspective, Ronaldo's transfer is so massive that it trumps 9/11.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm watching it from a very...
I know you are. We're looking at it from different ways, aren't we?
I'm studying it. Oh, he's touched this, Willie. Oh, 9/11. Oh!
Plus, did you see any of the goals? No.
Goals? What do you mean? Well, it's a game where the person gets the most... Okay. That's weird. So those are my observations from that. Firstly, I like that. Now moving on to unless you've got any more observations.
Well, also, I was going to ask you, what do you make of the Ronaldo celebration? Because it's like he's done this celebration forever.
No, everyone knows it.
And everyone knows it, but he has to keep it going. I wonder if there's ever a point where he thinks, I'm going to change this.
I
do
think
something different.
CR7 is so alert to it. He's in a sense, see what happened with Beckham. Amazing footballer, beautiful looking human being, charismatic star. But he was never the best footballer in the world. And even though Ronaldo has been, the fact is that Ronaldo's very, very handsome. He's more savvy. He's more alert. So I think he's sort of like, in a sense, he's like an elite athlete, even in cultural terms. And I don't have enough knowledge about really any sport, but like, what our Tom Brady or Kobe, God rest his soul, LeBron, but he understands, I think, the semiotics of his form, and having CR7 as branded, and see Rio's got like 5 or whatever, like he started that company, or like Dele Alli will do a clothes company, but because Ronaldo's such an apex figure, everything is predicated on the success of the athlete. I see Michael Owen, I think, say he could go until he's 40, Ronaldo, and you could see that, like, this is not a person who's only got 1 season left, or it's like what he's performing, man. And like, did you see when they showed how fast he was running? So I think that, I'm not sure, it's a bit, what do I want to say? I want to say something a bit like it's a bit like Uberman, and it's a bit like it's a bit fascistic. I don't mean that from a political perspective. I mean it's a bit supremacy, because he sort of does that pose, and then the fans now doing that accompanying it.
Yeah.
That's weird, because that disrupts what would normally be the beautiful chaos of the roar of celebration. He's now brought into the concert of Ronaldo's ego. He's such a powerful totem, but it's backed up by sheer skill.
Did you hear, I was listening to Neville again talking about Manchester, and he said that there was an atmosphere in Manchester that was so buzzing in the week leading up to the game that it was like nothing he'd seen in 10, 15 years. And he said that was through every single person that he saw and met, children, middle-aged, older people. It's that is incredible, isn't it? That I think hence why people are saying that it's the biggest transfer to happen in Premier League history, or maybe even footballing history, that it can have that kind of effect on an entire city and a large city at that.
The power of myth here. One of the things that underwrites, part of what we're doing is like we're just talking about football because we love it. But the other thing that sort of drives it is this understanding that football's got a power in it that you can't fully qualify or understand. When that Super League was suggested and everyone just riled up, and you see the power of fans and the potential of football in a way to change the world. And if you ever watch there's a cool video about the football wars. on YouTube, you can watch it. They do these little histories. What's it called? Reductive history or history oversimplified. It's a really cool channel. And like they did this, there was a war in it between a couple of, it was Ecuador and what's the other one? El Salvador, I think, had a war. And it was sort of built up around sort of World Cup qualifiers or Copa de America qualifiers. That sort of exacerbated it. There were economic and migration issues between the two nations, but it all calcified around football. So like the game has a great power to operate as a portal for latent emotion. Like this is this time of the pandemic and all of this fear and anxiety that we're feeling on a personal and indeed cultural level. And the return of the hero is like a really powerful mythic avatar, and the fact that he's the best footballer in the world, that he was at United, that he was at United under Fergie, that he's maintained his respect for his mentor and teacher, that he sort of still talks about him with that reverence, and that Man United is a club that's always, it's impossible to, it's always been defined by its history. There's a point where it didn't have one, but as even when it was under Ferguson, it was like harking back to the Munich crash and Best and Law and Charlton, and so now it's like history is happening live. I mean, this is sort of like almost a Baudrillard type idea of simulacrum, that things are happening so fast, that the rate of history is happening so quickly, that even in our living memory we're experiencing nostalgia, pastiche, parody and revivification live in real time. Ronaldo's gone, Ronaldo's back again, he's not all as aged as you might imagine. It's such a powerful thing to happen. It's such a powerful narrative. And I think as well, where we live in a cultural space that's so divided and fractured, there aren't that many things that you can safely jump onto and discuss, and everyone's gonna like have a sort of a safely binary opinion, broadly speaking. Either it's like, oh, it's great that Ronaldo's come back. Well, it's great that Ronaldo's come back because we love, I don't like him. He's not going to be as good. Like it's sort of like it's a safe and powerful thing. And then for him to fulfill on that, perhaps that's what greatness is. Other than, of course, there's technical skills and all those things, even if you talk about art or whatever, is that you're in alignment with your time. Like that you can function as an avatar upon which ideas can be safely projected, that you can handle it. Like a lot of people are like, I can't handle all this stuff being projected on me, and they fold up like a little souffle. Ronaldo, boom, like look at what that thing he does, that celebration. He plants himself like a pyramid on the floor. He's grounded. He's a channel for greatness, but he's connected to the earth. And it's a sort of a weird male powerful thing. I think he's like, when you get bundled a whole bunch of ideas into one unit like that, it is going to be powerful. I mean, like if he came back, he's got injured in the first 5 minutes, he can't score, he's missed a couple of shots. That's why it's so disappointing when, the famous one, Torres going to Chelsea or whatever. But when they, the Maradona, or like, when people can handle the greatness. Apparently Messi scored an amazing hat-trick for Argentina in the week. My mate told me he was Argentinian, Nick Ortner, the tapping, my mate that does the tapping. It's like some people can handle it.
Sounded like you meant scoring goals by a tapping.
That's the tapping, yeah. Yeah, he does the tapping.
He's a goal poacher.
He does tapping, it's like an electro.
He's like Gary Lineker.
He just operates in the box. Gary, come on, polish your skills. That's all of that stuff.
Well, I really enjoyed that analysis.
It was quite good, wasn't it? That's probably the best
especially when we got to
bit of
Baudrillard.
stuff.
That was great.
Norwich, I don't think Norwich is a proper football team.
Hang on, mate. No.
The colours, the canary going up and down. Does anyone really care?
No. Norwich.
Stand up for Norwich?
They're a sustainable club. I mean, that is something. All
what
the kind
do you mean? Like plant a tree, cut a tree down, plant a tree.
That's right. Yeah.
Sell a player, buy a player.
That's how they do. That's their training during the week. Planting trees.
Like Rocky IV.
That's why they keep losing.
In the snow. All right, we're going to plant some more trees. Hold on a minute. We've got to learn how to handle a variety of different attacks. No.
Look, I think it's the fact that they are a yo-yo club is
economic.
It's fine for us to talk about Ronaldo coming back and him being a hero and the power of the hero and the myth and all that, but they're paying him £500,000 a week. Like Norwich, probably their entire squad isn't being paid that. They buy players in order to fund they sell players in order to fund their seasons in the Premier League, almost with the knowledge that they're going to come down again. So
what, they got Pookie?
They got Pookie. I mean, the very fact that they have to rely on Pookie to basically keep them up.
Pookie sounds like an anime hero from Japan.
Yeah.
Like, it's Pookie.
Yeah. You'd think there'd be great marketing.
Use Pookie more wisely.
Yeah.
Pookie.
Like if he looked cute make little dolls of him, couldn't
If
they?
he was just himself, a little sphere that
Yeah.
floated around, Pookie, and then at the end of every match he'd give you a lifestyle tip, like, if you're ever worried, just to talk to a grown-up.
Yeah.
Pookie.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Like a Pokemon character or something. Yeah, Pookie. Pokemon.
Yeah, that would.
We're given. I mean, maybe this is how we're gonna. This is gonna get them another season in the Premier League.
I think that Norwich fans don't care about Norwich.
This is straying into dangerous territory.
But antagonising Norwich fans.
Maybe they kind of exist.
So Millwall fans, they care.
Yeah, but maybe Norwich fans exist on a kind of plane above all kind of other football reality, in like this knowledge that they're going to go down and then come back up again. They can kind of see football in a different way. They can see it for what it is. They accept reality, and maybe they get to enjoy that season in the Premier League that happens every 2 seasons for kind of what it is, that they're playing these kind of ridiculous juggernauts of football teams with unlimited resources, whereas they know we live in reality. So we get to kind of see it. And every now and again they do have, players that kind of, get to that level.
Sutton.
Well, Sutton, yeah. I mean, he was
Ipswich fans care. I think they care. The Tractor Boys, who are like they're mental if you play Ipswich.
Do tweet us if you're a Norwich fan and think that Russell's
and
right about you not caring.
Proper tattoos, I want to see.
What, does that mean you care if you get a tattoo?
It's a sign, at least.
Oh, come on.
Do they? Is there any evidence of committed hooliganism from Norwich?
Well,
I suppose. I was just wondering. Now, I don't know. Look, I don't know. I'm only mucking about.
Of course he is.
People love the football teams. Norwich fans love Norwich. I know that. But what about when Delia Smith had to go, come on, get your back into it? She had to come on the pitch and tell them to care, didn't she?
She did, yeah.
When you're being rallied by a chef. Okay, so we're going to be talking to Conor Moore, the impersonator and impressionist. We're going to get him to do some impressions and stuff like that. Okay, well, let's dial his number. Gal, why don't you read some of those tweets while I...
okay. Yeah, I can read tweets. So we asked, in light of the United fans sticking around afterwards in the hope of seeing more of Ronaldo, what lengths have you gone to try and meet a player? So we've got a few here. Baby Stardust writes, me and my bro once met Juan Mata at Old Trafford for a Chevrolet TV gig. And he said he wanted to come and have a coffee with us, but the agents wouldn't let him.
Who writes this?
I don't know. This is Baby Stardust writes this on Twitter.
Is there not an avatar of why do you think that Juan Mata was willing to do that?
Well, how do you know that? I know. I'm not sure how much of this I believe.
Because Juan Mata might have been being polite.
I would say almost certainly. And probably even use the agency as an excuse.
But at the Sunday, my agent will not allow it.
Yeah, I reckon that's what happened.
Connor?
Hello.
All right, Connor, it's Russell and Gareth.
How you doing, fellas? What's the crack?
Yeah, all good. We're doing our podcast. Yeah, we're already... This is part of the content, but of course it's not live. If you say anything you want cut out, we'll just cut it out.
All right. It was a bit like... That's a bit like the... If you do say anything, it may be held against you in court. Blah, blah.
It's the opposite of that. If you do say anything, we won't hold it against you. Good, because I did actually do that murder, and here's the reasons why I did it, and here's these pair of gloves. One's at my house, one's at the scene of the murder. It's pretty clear I did it. Okay, well, thanks, Mr. Simpson. Come this way. Right, if he'd have done that, then it would have been different. Connor, I think you're the best impersonator of football-related figures in the modern world. What's the name of your channel, mate?
It is Conor Sketches. You'll find it. If you type in my name, Conor Moore or Conor Sketches on Instagram, you'll get me.
Who's your best impersonator? My favourite was... I used to love it when you done Lampard, but now Lampard is in a period of retreat, healing from the wounds of not only being sacked by Chelsea, the club that he is most affiliated with, in spite of the fact that he came through West Ham, like his dear old dad before him. And now that to add insult to injury, Tuchel has gone on to turn Chelsea into some sort of a supreme juggernaut of inevitable triumph. So, who are your... give us, if you don't mind, Connor, give us your best... three at the your favourites, and then do some of them.
Well, Russell, I think I'm going to start off with Frank. Obviously I'm a West Ham boy. And they used to call me all sorts of names when I went back. Yeah, it wasn't very nice. It's like at Chelsea. I thought I was going well. if I knew all I got to do was change the goalkeeper, I would be in the Champions League. I would have done that, you know. He cost me about 400 million, and he cost me the job. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm still pretty upset about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely. My best. I was so annoyed. I was raging when it happened. Like when someone gets the sack, I'm raging. But my best, I think by far, is Mourinho.
Do you, Mourinho? I love Mourinho anyway. I just love him as a person.
I think so. Of course, you love Jose because he is very special, and I think everyone misses me in the Premier League. I think I've done a very, very good job. I was the manager of Chelsea, Man United, Tottenham. I won the Premier League 3 times, Russell. Three times, and no respect. You know, I think, and you look at Man United. People say, "What's your biggest achievement?" I won everything in the game. My biggest achievement for me, I think, was keeping Man United in the Premier League. I think so. I mean, you look at the team, what they have now and what I had. They have Varane now. I had Phil Jones. They have Cristiano. I had Ashley Young. I mean, you cannot make silk from a pig's ear. So I think, look at me. I'm in Italy right now. 3 games and 3 wins. 3, Russell. Respect.
He likes 3, don't he? Hey, what happens is when I listen to Conor doing them impressions, I start to actually think it is Mourinho and start to automatically think I want to ask Mourinho questions. And I realise, no, this is Conor. Where are you from in Ireland, mate?
I'm from a place called Mullingar. It's in the very, very middle of Ireland, I think, and that's why I'm kind of blessed. I have a very flat Irish accent, and it allows me to do like Americans and English people and Irish people from different parts of the country. So I think, I have a bit of an advantage because of my accent or something. It's just so flat. And a lot of people like around me, Niall Horan is from 10 minutes from where I'm from. We'd be friends from growing up. He's actually great at impressions too. There's loads of people in my town that can do great impressions.
It's like an impression hotbed. Like it's one of them towns, like that football team that like Gazza and Peter Beardsley and Shearer, like that, you know, like Gateshead Boys or whatever it's called. Yeah, like it's one of them teams that like there's a little place that generates all of that. When you're doing an impression of someone, in your mind, do you think that you sort of are them, and like does your brain sort of go into a bit of a glitch?
Yeah, and how I describe that is like if I'm doing live gigs and if people are just spitballing at me, like usually things are scripted, but if you're certain characters, you take on a certain persona. So if I'm a cocky sort of character, I'll give a cocky answer back. But if I'm not a cocky character or something, you know, if I'm Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and I'm been asked a question, like I won't be able to think as fast, you know, than if I was Jose.
Because it's like you're transmitting their essence. It's a transmission of their essence. Because what is the voice? The voice is a ghost in the machine. Like it's the vibration of those kind of the vocal cords, and of course various other lingual movements and facial expressions. I think it's just a beautiful talent. Can we exploit you by having you
in general
from every possible angle, financially, sexually, spiritually, by getting you to say things about football is nice in voices of famous football figures, so we can then use them in jingles on our show, which would no doubt have, because I call him Lazy Lorenzo, who makes our jingles. He always used the same musical bed behind every single jingle, even every single jingle. It always says the same, Lazy Lorenzo. That is your name. Like, because I'd like the football. We've got Cantona saying that seagull thing. That's for when I'm doing sort of like when I'm being all mysterious and tangential and philosophical.
Oh yeah.
We've got Kevin Keegan saying, I would love it when it's something I love. We've got Graham Taylor going, I do not like that when it's something I don't like. You know, we use these jingles, but they've all got the same musical bed. Because of Lazy Lorenzo, one single little jingle. But like, I wonder if you could. He did all these things for nothing. That's the joke behind that, Conor. He did it for nothing out of, we can only assume, love and kindness. But what about, mate? Will you do will you say sort of like in say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's voice, like football? Some stuff about football is nice, and Gareth and Russell and Jenny and stuff like that, so we can use it. Look, I'm just a blatant capitalist, aren't I? I'm always criticising it on YouTube. It's basically all I am.
I'll start off with Harry Redknapp.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah, nice.
Well, I've got to say, I mean, football is nice. I think it's a fantastic sport. I love listening to it. I mean, Russell and Gareth, absolutely fantastic, terrific lads. I mean, they're two of the best, fantastic. I wish I signed them, you know, fantastic,
Lovely. See, now all we need is Lorenzo to put that behind it, and then we've got that. Wicked. And what about, can you have Ole? Oh, go on, Gareth.
Klopp. How about Klopp?
Yeah, look, football for me is football is nice, fantastic. I really believe it's fantastic. Russell and Gareth. Yeah, look, two lads who know nothing about football, but yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, you said you couldn't be mean as Ollie. That'd be the more like sort of thing that Mourinho would have said. These Einsteins, what do they know? Everybody these Einsteins. Okay, everyone for me is too generic.
I think football is nice. I enjoy listening to it. I think it is very special. I think so. The two guys, two fantastic guys, and respect.
He want to, Gareth, what do you want?
Oh, Klopp. I'd love to hear Klopp.
Oh, football is nice. I love it. That's where I get all my football information from. That's great. Oh, this moment, Gareth, you are a great guy. And yeah, besides Virgil, you and Virgil are my two favorite people.
It's true. I do believe that that Jurgen Klopp's saying that about me.
Particularly because it's an audio medium we're doing this in, so the visual, my mind just puts Jurgen Klopp there straight away, and then that's that. I was thinking the other thing that I wanted to use Conor's talents for is like getting things that people would never say. Like, say if you had sort of like Thomas Tuchel just saying that he had a family of mice that lived in his trousers, and like the family of mice that don't get on with each other, and like there's that sort of stuff. Like, just,
well, you know what? I would do that if, and this is a thing I keep getting asked online to do Thomas Tuchel. I spent about 4 months trying to do Thomas Tuchel, and I can't get him.
I was going to ask about that, Conor. Are there must be managers and players that you know you'd love to be able to do, but just doesn't quite work for you. Who's that happened with? Like, is Tuchel one of the only ones in kind of recent memory, or are there others?
Yeah, Tuchel is one that I just couldn't get. I've tried him for so long in golf. Then, you know, Phil Mickelson, the golfer, I kind of struggled to get him. And then obviously, doing a bit of Formula One stuff at the minute that I'm planning on doing. I can't get Toto Wolff. I've kind of recognised that when a guy has a very, very deep voice, a powerful voice, that someone that, like Thomas Tuchel, he doesn't seem like he's loud. He nearly whispers when he's talking, but his voice just projects across the room easily, which he obviously has a sort of I don't know whether to call it a deep voice, kind of a big voice. And I just can't hit some of them. Like, I'm like 5'5". I'm pretty small dude. So when some guys, like Morgan Freeman, I can't do Morgan Freeman, you know what I mean?
He's someone that's apparently quite easy to do, Morgan Freeman. Hey, listen.
Yeah, loads of people do him, yeah.
Hey, do you feel like when you're learning them, because I chatted to you and you were learning Graham Souness, right? And you were sort of like, oh, I think I got it now. Sorry to insult you with an impression. It must be horrible to watch that. It must make sick come up in your mouth when someone does an impression of you that's bad. But anyway, you were like learning the traits. I wonder if it gives you a window into their inner life, and if sometimes they say like, you know, Arteta under pressure, like if you sort of are like impersonating him, whether you can sort of like, as if you can sort of sense what his anxieties and feelings are, and use it to predict the future.
I don't know if I've ever sat down and thought that hard about it. But I tell you, I was working on Graham, right? And I go back to it. Football is nice, great pod, love listening to it, right? But the day when they start talking about Paul Pogba, I'm out. You want to talk about Pogba? I don't want to talk about Pogba, but I'll tell you this now. I go back to it. That guy is a disgrace to football. And that's it. But I don't want to talk about him. That's it.
Do you think that? I think that what that is that Pogba is a player that reminds him of himself as a player, and like that it sort of bothers him. Because it's like, I reckon any footballer of a generation older, well, firstly, it must be really hard to not play football anymore anyway, whoever you are. And then secondly, it's like, oh no, it's become the most lucrative thing that anyone could do ever, and I missed that window. So it must be hard to have any kind of objectivity, because you must continually be watching it, unless you're someone like Gary Neville, who has that kind of sanguinity, and not sort of feel, oh shit, man, like it must sort of bug you, like as if you just missed out on this sort of glorious opportunity.
I had a similar thought about Souness. I was kind of thinking maybe he reminds him of someone that he hated that he had to play with
Right.
or something. And he's like, I don't know, whoever. Although back then players, they never say players weren't given it all. Like there had to have been players like that, but I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of a weird one with doing it, but I love it. I hope it keeps going because it gives me content.
They were also
I tell you, another one I actually love.
Go on, mate.
Another one I love is kind of the best ones for me are the voices that are a bit weird. Unai Emery.
Oh yeah.
First of all, good evening. Good evening. Football is nice. I have to say, Gareth Roy. Good evening.
Because he has that weird, like he's vacillating the pitch.
Yeah. I don't know. I just started doing them one day, and then I did him in one. I didn't even think I had him, and I just put it on the internet, and everybody loved it. And then he was another one that got the sack, and then left. And then last year, I thought Ole at the start of the year was going to get the sack. So it's a constant, never-ending revolving door where there's guys coming in and guys coming out, and you just hope it. Like for instance, I was even practicing Pochettino for a while because I thought he was coming back to Tottenham, but he never came back. And so I'd be here all day, every day, just listening to voices, doing my head in. Going a little bit crazy.
You must want reality to go in a certain way so that it keeps your accents relevant.
Yeah, if it was like football 15, 20 years ago when the manager was given like 4 or 5 years to make it work, nowadays it's just like shit. Now, that's only in soccer though. Like I do golf as well. Like so golf is, you always have the same guys in golf for years because they're not going to be off the tour. Well, most of them.
Yeah, you did it. Didn't you do an advert with Tiger Woods? I'm pretty sure I saw that.
I did, yeah.
Was that was literally you and Tiger together, right?
Yeah. We did for Bridgestone Golf. Conditions are really tough out there, and football is nice. This Tiger Woods football night. God, I can't even do them. Football is nice by Tiger Woods. What a great podcast! Oh man, Gareth. I don't know how you listen to Russell all day, but it's tough.
Well, this is the other thing I've realised about impersonators is that their unconscious thoughts come to the surface through the impersonation or subconscious. What about that? I like the Levy and when you did the Daniel Levy and Harry Kane thing. That's a good, successful sketch of yours on YouTube. You did that thing. I liked that you put a pair of tights on your head to be Daniel Levy. And like you did, it's like when you get a bit of time, you can cultivate a more nuanced or even expressionistic version of the character. You know what I mean? You can start riffing on him like David Squires does. Yeah. I like how you do. I like that.
That's it. I'm just obviously I'm happy to be staying at Tottenham. A very difficult summer. We nearly won the Euros. I came back. I wanted to leave, and Daniel said to me, he said, "Look, Harry, if you give me one more year, then you can go at the end of your next contract." So I'm giving it one more year.
Nice one. All right, Conor, thanks for joining us. We strongly recommend people follow your channel. I hope that we get to do more stuff together, mate. We'll be in touch with you about all sorts of things with your incredible skill set. It's always lovely to chat to you. Is there anything you want to say before you go, mate?
Lad, it's always a pleasure, and you know where I'm at. Let's do something. Cheers, lad.
Lots of love, Conor.
Oh,
Take
cheers,
it easy,
Conor.
mate.
Thanks so much.
Take it easy.
Bye, mate.
Bye. He's nice, isn't he, Conor?
Oh, so nice.
Lovely geezer. Football is nice.
It's hard to know, though, isn't it? Like when he said that thing at the end of it's been great, lovely guys, or whatever. You go, hang on, are you just doing a thing now? You're just doing a. He's
a chameleon, and that's the idea about shape-shifting. A chameleon and a shapeshifter is an unnerving thing because we need to be anchored in reality. I'm glad you brought up the subject of Mourinho because Mourinho did win them games and he did another run down the sideline.
He did a run. The old Mourinho's back.
He's running around. Yeah. I think Roma will work out for him. What's he got to do? Win Serie A. But are they in the? They'll be in the same thing as West Ham, won't they? They'll be in UEFA.
In
Europa. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be I guess it's a good opportunity, isn't it? Because Juve are not what they were at all. They've had a dreadful start to the season. Inter's been a kind of mixed bag, and obviously they sold Lukaku, and all is not that well at Inter at the moment. So it's a good opportunity. I mean, if Jose went in and won Serie A, it'd be an amazing
Roma
achievement.
Won it for ages, have they?
It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, and they've got Tammy Abraham, which is nice as that kind of link, and he started off well. And you want that version of Mourinho back, don't you? And maybe being with Roma, being back in Italy, being away from the pressure that comes with the Premier League has just freed him up a bit, relaxed him a bit.
I was watching videos of Johan Cruyff. he was so beautiful to watch. He smoked.
Yeah, a lot of them did in those days,
It
didn't
was
they?
the glory days. We just have a fag.
Do you want to hear a few more tweets?
Yeah, all right.
From our what lengths have you gone to try and meet a player? So Richard Doxey says, I once swapped orders at a pizza place I was working in, I presume, so I could deliver to Peter Reid. The bonus being Sam Allardyce was there as well.
That'd be so cool if you were delivering a pizza to Peter Reid just to get to see Peter Reid.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Then you get there and Allardyce is there and all.
Amazing.
It's a proper geezers, like big solid blokes having a pizza.
You'd think they'd order more than one pizza, though.
Between
those
they put
two,
away a few. I mean, Allardyce.
Surely.
I'd imagine Allardyce would stack them up, like 5 or 6.
Yeah, maybe he was full.
Yeah, Allardyce.
He'd already eaten.
I'm intermittent fasting at the moment. I've got right. So I'm still doing my breakdown.
Great.
Here's my bit of my breakdown. See that geezer? They got Emerson off. Spurs have got Emerson off
from
that
Barcelona.
Right back. I like how he looks.
Yeah, and he's called Royal, isn't
I
he?
like these. Put Royal on his shirt.
Cool. I mean,
can you put what you want on your shirt?
I bet you can.
Because I never, I still don't understand Kund for Aguero. I've never understood it. Where he's going. Yeah, I thought he was pretty sexy. Well, Tangana and Zaha, that fight they had.
Yeah.
They were fighting, but just with their faces.
Yeah.
They had their arms down by their waists,
Yeah.
like they were doing something like an egg and spoon race or a sack race. It was like they
The thing about
weren't involving their arms.
fighting in general is always looks, other than in a heavyweight boxing match or any weight boxing match, it always looks a bit silly, doesn't it? And I remember I haven't really been in fights myself, but I've seen quite a few of them, especially when I was at uni, and there'd be a lot of people very drunk, and especially outside of like chippies and takeaways, there'd always end up being a fight. And they look stupid. Like they're so aggressive, but they look ridiculous. And people don't actually know really how to fight properly. And it reminded me of that when I watched this, because I thought what it is they know they can't punch, they know they can't use their arms, and they did what they could to still, get the emotions across.
It's like they're using the system of the most fundamental rule of football: you can't use your hands.
Yeah,
it's like they're using that. Even in the fight.
Yeah.
But they also weren't kicking. It's like they were face fighting.
Yeah. It made me think that's the kind of, if I was ever to get in a fight, I'd want football rules fighting.
Yeah, like you're just going to use your face and
Yeah.
sort of, it's like you just use abrasive nipples to sort of graze the chest of your opponent.
Yeah.
Really enjoying crowds.
Yeah.
I like the feeling of a crowd. It's so amazing.
Isn't it?
And it's such a relief, because I suppose it's the anaesthetic to the feelings of isolation and quarantine and lockdown and all of that. To see a crowd, like the raucousness of it, even obviously just on a TV and probably primarily on TV, like it feels like, I love it. I love the feeling that. Now, moving on to my analysis of Chelsea Villa, unless you've got points.
Well, I think we were chatting about crowds and football in general. It does feel at the moment, maybe in this country, maybe this is inaccurate, but to me it feels like football stadiums is the only area of life where life seems to be back to normal. Where it's like, I remember this seems to be completely unaffected by pandemic and all those kind of things.
So it just it feels like an oasis.
There's something, very comforting about it. Obviously, it's the exhilaration of it, but also it's like, we're back, and I think that contributes to how great it feels to watch this.
I like the joy and I like the chaos. Now, these are my observations from Chelsea Villa. Lukaku, he's sort of like Shearer. He's a goal machine. He's unstoppable. The way, he just the confidence and competence of him is so sort of reassuring. And then when you see him in an interview, he's got a kind of a sort of solidness about him even then.
He's got a joke in him as well, though. Lukaku.
He did do a joke.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I beat him in the week.
Yep.
That was a cool joke.
Cool
joke.
joke.
He goes, because what was it again?
It was about beating the keeper, wasn't it?
Mendy.
It was unstoppable. And he goes,
Do you think
I
you could
beat him yesterday.
I beat him yesterday.
I mean, he's supremely confident, isn't it? It just shows in his all-round
so
player.
attractive confidence.
It is.
Ollie Watkins is like a made-up footballer name by when a computer game has gone too far in the future, a football management game, and then it's starting just generating them.
Yeah.
It's Ollie Watkins.
I'll go along with that.
It's Bobby Football Foot. It's a very old-fashioned, it's old-fashioned sounding and made-up sounding. Also, he's good though, isn't he? He's like one of them Brentford things.
Yep.
And also Brentford is like a computer game because they're using data analysis to create them, and that's why they're getting these generator names coming out of them.
Yeah, every striker that they produce or buy turns into turns into a £30 million player. It's incredible.
It's a good system.
No, I like that Ivan Toney. He reminded me a bit of Lukaku in his play. Actually, he's so strong. The way he holds up the ball, Ivan Toney, the Brentford forward. He looks.
He's the new one they've generated.
He's the new one.
Got another one of them.
Yep.
They can just keep selling them.
I know.
Southampton were like that for a while. Presumably all these Red Bull teams are a bit like it.
Yeah.
They can just, right, if we've sold that one for 30, it's another one.
Yeah.
Got another one of them. They just get another ones.
Yeah.
It's also Dean Smith. I suppose it's because we're so used to foreign names, exotic names, like that. Like when someone's called Ollie Watkins or Dean Smith. Like, you just think, that's made up.
He seems like such a lovely bloke. And obviously, he's doing great at Villa. Like that, he really has turned Villa around from a team that a couple of years ago looked like they were just going to go straight back down. Like, obviously, they've got quite a lot of money, Villa, but they seem to be buying well. You know, even the Grealish money seems to be put to good use. But he looks like such an ordinary man, doesn't he? I mean, that's not a criticism in a way, but when you have all the exoticism and flavour of all the various players from all over the world and all the money that's been spent, and then Dean Smith turns up to do an interview. Now it just feels like this isn't the modern game. Dean Smith.
You need a gimmick.
Yeah.
Even Bielsa's got his bucket.
Yeah.
What's your angle, Dean?
It doesn't seem to have an angle.
My angle is there's no angle. My angle's football.
Yeah.
Straightforward. Tuchel.
Yep.
Non-sexy Klopp.
Yes.
Because like Klopp is a bit sexy. We've said it before. No doubt I'll say it again. Tuchel, he's not sexy.
No.
I'm not critiquing him simply.
He
on
might be in
appearance.
his private life. We
don't know what happens behind closed doors with Tuchel.
No.
For all we know, he's like Barry White. For all we know, he generates such magnetism and charisma when it's the appropriate context.
Yeah.
We've got no way of knowing that.
He hasn't been rendered through Conor yet either, has he? So we don't
He's
know.
unrenderable.
We haven't got
He's
insights.
unrenderable.
Yeah.
Ian Wright used drill slang
Yes, he
on Match
did.
of the Day, coming for man.
Yes, he did.
I
liked it.
Drill slang coming in
I liked
to the
it.
Match of the Day now.
Yeah, then there was that bit where Ian Wright said, where he just kept saying, "You keep coming for me, Gary," and then it went on too late. Gary Lineker at one point got on to go, "All right, Ian."
Ian, Match of the Day. We're under pressure here. Right, so then Arsenal v Norwich, because this is the order that it's on in Match of the Day, and that's the order that I'm receiving it, 'cause I watch some games live on Saturday and a Sunday, and I am thinking of going, like, I'm sort of, with United is at the London Stadium, but...
You thinking of going, are you, mate?
I was thinking of it a bit, but it's a lot of pressure.
Wow.
The travel, the getting there, the intensity of it.
The VIP tickets. A lot of pressure.
The luxury, the endless privilege.
The free sandwiches.
I'd rather, it is a better experience watching it normally.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah,
It's
I mean,
a better
I've experienced both with you, and it definitely, I think for both of us, it always has been.
Because I don't like social awkwardness.
Exactly.
And there's much less social awkwardness once you're immersed in a crowd. That I'm in a bit where everyone's singing. I can do the singing. I stand up when they stand up. I sit, and if they don't sit down, I don't sit down. Cool. I'm lost. I'm in a crowd. No one cares. Maybe at half time I'll have to sign some programs or whatever. I always used to feel slightly fraudulent signing programs
On a football program over football players' names.
Yeah. Just sign this one as Michael Antonio. Oh, all right. You'll do.
Yeah, it must be. It's also the experience. I mean, anytime going to a football match, if you are away from the normal fans and in an area that could seem like privileged or just not, it feels very conflicted, doesn't it? It feels like I'm not meant to be in this bit.
I went to Hampden Park once. It's actually a glass booth.
Right.
Like, you actually can't even get out of it if you wanted to.
Like a fish tank.
Because you're in a fish tank. Like, I suppose probably because, and it was Celtic Rangers as well. Yeah, it was cool.
I'd love to go to
a
Celtic
intense
Rangers game.
I mean, we should do more football matches.
We should do more football matches.
Because, it is an amazing experience, isn't it? It's, intense and mental. Go to some that where we don't support nobody.
Do a podcast
about it. Do it there.
Brilliant.
We can do what we like.
All right.
I mean, we're under incredible pressure of the rest of our working lives. Right, like Aubameyang. I was watching...
you have trouble pronouncing players' names, don't you?
Yeah, a lot of trouble. It's weird because I've remembered so many words in my life.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you are this is what you're known for.
Vocabulary.
It's vocabulary. And it comes to football players who you...
And places in not English-sounding places.
I think
like even Wales, I found it very hard to remember where I was meant to be going.
I think that's acceptable.
Yeah.
But yeah, the kind of level of obsession we have with football and not remembering. Yeah, hey, it's not a criticism.
Aubameyang.
Yeah.
And I actually like that word. I liked it when he was in Germany. I like it now.
Yeah.
Because I like that Aubameyang. It's like got a lot of dynamism as a sound.
He used to wear lots of masks, didn't he? Do you remember he wore... I think he definitely wore like a Batman mask at some point when playing for Dortmund.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Well, was it an injury or was he just really making a point?
No, like making a point. I can't remember. It might have been his nickname or something connected to his name. I don't know enough about it. But yeah, he used to...
Because I like it when they wear them, when Harry Kane had to wear that Phantom of the Opera mask.
Yeah.
I love something like that.
Yeah.
I was feeling like this is what I felt about Arsenal, and then they did win. Is I thought, oh, they're in serious stuck, and I was thinking of a club like Villa or Leeds, or like it's not. You think things are permanent, but things are not permanent, and even things like Liverpool and United, when they sort of fall from grace, like they don't fall that bloody far from grace. They're still top four, but that it is possible for a team to just disappear. I mean, I suppose Blackburn. But Blackburn's period of triumph was a modern anomaly in a way, though. The history is pretty rich.
Yeah, I don't think they had the financial foundations, or haven't had, subsequent to Jack Walker, the financial foundations that Arsenal certainly have. I mean, they are a kind of wealthy club.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense,
strange that they're in the position that they're in and only beating Norwich 1-0. It's a strange story for Arsenal. I'm sure all the Arsenal
this
fans...
could be Arsenal in decline. That's what I feel like could happen. Like Arsenal could become like, oh, do you remember Arsenal?
Yeah,
like it's already like what they 8th last season, stuff like that. And it's weird. I almost like with friends that are Arsenal fans, I feel a bit embarrassed.
Yeah,
because like West Ham, like are above them last season, maybe we'll finish above them this season. It sort of feels a bit like the feeling you'd get if you become stronger than a parent. Think like when it goes from no, mum, dad, come and just sit down. Yeah. I'll take care of it. Yeah. You're doddering now.
Yeah,
you're doddering fools. You can't be trusted to do things anymore, Arsenal.
Yeah.
You're elderly.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there was that bit, wasn't there, where Arteta said, these have been the best 10 days of my management career. And you think, that's a lie. That's a blatant lie. And, no disrespect to him or anything, but there's no way that the dire straits that Arsenal have been in at the start of this season, and losing 3 games, bottom of the league, that can be your best 10 days. I mean, what about he's won cups? I just can't believe it. That's him deflecting it.
Yeah.
And it's admirable in a way, but it's also tells a bit of a story to me of he can't be genuine about this because they're really going through something.
When someone does get replaced, like when we were talking before there with Conor about Lampard in a Tuchel, in retrospect, although it can never really be declared because there's some sort of technical or at least contractual illegality to it, it's obvious that players and managers are getting lined up somewhat in advance of when they, so by now the person that's the Arsenal manager has been contacted. It's like they've got a timeline for it, whether it's going to be Conte or whatever.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about Conte, wasn't there, coming? And I think Arsenal fans would bite your hand off for Conte. Just won Serie A, very successful at Chelsea, successful at Juve. I mean,
looks a bit like the Hoggle from the Labyrinth. In the film Labyrinth, there's someone who guides her in there. Jennifer, what's her name? He guides her in.
Right.
He's a little geezer. He's a bit trollish, but he's got very nice blue eyes.
He's like Conte.
If you get the images, you will see that I'm correct.
I'm sure you are.
I said it to when he was at Chelsea. I said it to a mate who's a Chelsea fan. It really pissed him off.
Right. He was protective of
He goes,
Conte.
I don't care. See, he's a good man. Shut up. I go, I'm not. Look, it's only a bit of a laugh. Not like, I'm not trying to bring him down or anything. Conte, he likes to celebrate and all, doesn't he?
We do get protective, don't we, of managers especially, actually.
Yeah, I feel protective of Moyes.
Yeah.
The Moyes sire.
Yeah, it's interesting. And like, obviously, I'm always banging on about Steve Bruce, and he hasn't been at Hull for years. But
it's still protecting
You do get very attached to them.
Because they're your de facto dad.
De facto dad.
Football dad. A manager is a football dad. That's what they are, and that's why we've got to protect our dads, everyone.
But yeah, in terms of Arsenal and Arteta, I mean, I was hearing that they were saying if they'd lost to Norwich, that would have been it. He'd have been gone.
I couldn't take that. I can't take that kind of pressure.
I know.
Edu, what is he? Director of football?
Yep.
He looks like a president or a CEO,
doesn't he?
In a sort of a movie.
Yeah.
But then his son is him, but he's got diamond earrings on.
Earrings.
So he's a naughty boy.
I thought that was a bad choice. Because
to have the diamonds.
Because if Arsenal were top of the league and everything was going swimmingly at Arsenal, you've got to know Edu's going to be. He knows he's going to be on camera, surely.
Yeah.
And saying to your son,
don't wear them diamond earrings.
Come along. It'll be nice to have you. It'll be a good experience.
You're going to be on the telly. You sure you want to wear them diamond earrings?
Diamond earrings.
Because what it is there's this perception that we live in this rarefied and elitist culture that's detached from the fans who are willing to hand over a lot of money, particularly at the Emirates, for a season ticket. So it costs a fortune, but they'll do it because of their love. So if they see you sat next to El Presidente, you sat there in them diamond earrings. It's about, but then as a parent,
because what does it say? If even Edu can't make his son do the right thing, how's he going to make the club do the right thing? With the transfer, that's not a good luck.
But as a parent, you will let your kids do what they want.
Anything.
Like you want just what's best for them.
Yeah.
And if what's best for them is some rather elaborate Marie Antoinette style diamond earring. No, but that kid might be shy, he's beautiful, he's a human being.
We don't know actually that it was his son.
He's rich, might not even be his son.
Might just be a stranger.
I just sat there, you go sit in the studio. Who's this bling little geezer? Sat there in the diamonds, all bejewelled.
I was listening to a similar story. I was listening to Michael Rich. Sorry to keep interrupting your breakdown.
No, that's the point. You're not allowed to. It's not like this is a job I've got to go through. Your interruptions are integral to the show.
Fine. Well, I was listening to Michael Richards talk about that story. Do you remember when Jolene Lescott, who we actually spoke about the other day, who I tackled once?
Yes, I remember.
Do you remember that story when they were both at Villa and Villa were going down? Villa were in the relegation zone. They were playing terribly. And they were also a kind of symbol of privileged, well-paid footballers who were not playing well and not putting enough effort in, hence why Villa were in the state that they were in. And Lescott tweeted that picture of that really expensive car. Do you remember it? I don't even remember. So Jolene Lescott,
I don't actually remember this story,
out of nothing, tweeted, like any kind of tweet that you would do, a picture of like a 300 grand car. And he ended up trending as a result because obviously people went mental because Villa had lost. I think Lescott was at fault for one or two of the goals. And rather than say, tough day, tough away day for the lads or home game for the lads, and, we'll keep plugging away and we're still sure that we can beat relegation, we don't know. It's alleged, but he posted a picture of like a ridiculously expensive car. And then there's a massive fallout of like, this is all that's wrong with the game, and I heard Michael Richards saying it was a genuine mistake, that he was just happened to be I don't know, maybe tweeting it to someone else, and in his pocket ended up tweeting it to everyone. But I mean, I would just say if you've lost and you're going down and you're being paid a lot of money, just don't look at pictures of expensive cars that week, maybe.
The whole problem is that social media evolved so quickly and became so central faster than the protocols around it could evolve. And like suddenly, like at the beginning of Twitter, it's like, people just, communicating, talking to strangers. It's only 10 years ago or something. It's not that bloody long ago. And then now it's like, whoa. Like these things now are sort of governed in the same way as you wouldn't just put on a television program where it's like, I want to look at your bum. Like, it's, what do you like? Don't bro. Oh no, the mics are up.
Cancel him.
Yeah. And but initially there was a period where it's like this was just a sort of a free flow of information.
Yes, a bit of fun, ultimately. I don't tweet. I've started tweeting as a result of doing Football is Nice. And then this confidence is like, because a couple of them have had like 4 likes or something. Last night I was watching the BT analysis of the Champions League shows, and they've gone from, because Lineker's left because he
wanted to go and watch
European games with his sons.
Yeah,
lovely. And Jake, who did the Europa League, has come in to do the Champions League. Or I think maybe he did the Wednesday when Lineker did the Tuesday. Anyway, it's not important. But they've changed the whole setup of the analysis now, where it's gone from the traditional kind of more like
round a table,
match of the day type look, to them being in this like enclosed pitch black room with like shards of light.
I don't like that, mate.
And circling cameras.
Do I not like that? Shards of light encircling cameras like the Matrix, like the technology to do the bullet shots in the Matrix. Wait, here she goes.
Oh, fuck it. Do I not like that?
I do not like that.
Right.
Shards of light.
I didn't like it. And so it's like, so it's Jake Humphries, I think he's called, Rio Ferdinand and Peter Crouch, all suited and booted.
Good.
Look amazing.
Good pundits, good Good host.
But it looks in this room, it looks like they're awake. To me, it looked like they're in awake. They're all sharply dressed, and they're stood behind this massive screen that looks like a coffin. And in front of it, you've got a replica of the Champions League trophy, which looks like a fancy urn. And like it's a really pitch black room. It's so crazy. And I sent a tweet out because immediately I was like, "Oh, I don't like this at all."
What did you say?
And I just tweeted out, "What on earth's going on with the Champions League coverage on BT Sport? It looks like a wake. I miss Gary Lineker and static shots." And thought, yeah, I stand by that. And then started to get nervous, and then had to just do stuff to distract myself from the tweet.
Have you
I
looked
just
at
sent.
what people have said?
I think a couple of people have said it was have just liked it or something.
Well, the police are outside. the person, the set designer at BT Sports, she worked very hard.
Well,
that's right, it was a woman given a break in the male space of football, and you couldn't stand it, could you? I mean, the thing is, do you know what I reckon happened there, mate?
I got nervous, Ross. Very nervous.
I don't blame you. Life is innovating. Football is nice.
Yeah.
Life is innovating. Like what I feel like is, firstly, the design choices that have taken place on BT Sports. The departure of Gary Lineker would have been an incredible coup with his pedigree as a broadcaster and a footballer. Sort of rattled them a bit, but they know the product is primarily football. They've got Jake in the wings; he can step up. But somewhere in the collective unconscious, they saw it as a sort of death.
Oh, very nice.
And that played itself out in the design choices that they made. Because they went, look, it's not right. Gary's leaving. Instead of just sticking you in that chair, which will invite comparisons between you and Lineker and everyone, oh, he's not Lineker. Let's make it radically different and make these weird expressionistic choices, like it's like a Beckett-style floating heads in a jagged world of light with a sort of a four-screen that's sepulchral and coffin-like. That's what I think happened.
I like that.
And like they went too far. And then Gareth Roy has stepped in and gone, hang on, because you know telly, you know visual grammar, you know football. You've piped up.
I've piped up, and I wish I hadn't.
Because then it made you feel nervous.
It did, yeah. So let alone being Julian Lescott and tweeting a picture of a posh car.
Yeah,
that must have been dreadful.
Hey, all the so the Leicester v Man City, the Leicester players were saying hello to each other on the pitch. Why is that? Where have they been? And they just been in the dressing room. They were shaking each other's hands.
You're right. I always think that. I always think you surely guys saw each other in the dressing room. I think every single time.
You're still playing for Leicester?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so strange, is that? That's a phenomenon that I'll never understand unless it's explained to us. Why do they all say hello to each other at the start of a game?
I was looking, I didn't understand.
It happens all the time. That
always happens.
Yeah, it's very odd. I can imagine saying hello to the opposition, although in these friendlier times. Is it like how me and you are with each other before this podcast, talking about our ideas for our YouTube videos, and then when this starts, I don't go, oh, all right, mate. Yeah.
How are you?
Gareth.
Yeah,
there's a kind of formal introduction to the start of it.
It's formal, so it's ritual.
It's ritual, yeah.
All right.
That explains it.
Okay. Every time Tielemans is mentioned, I think of the Cat Stevens song.
Tea for the Tillemans.
Make the rain come. That's what I always think that.
Oh, baby, baby. Isn't it that one?
Yeah.
Let's put that to a Leicester player, though. Vardy, surely. It's got a bit, isn't it?
Oh, Vardy. There's a chant there for you. But it's going to be complicated because there's a lot of lyrics.
Yeah.
Like you've got to do, and Tilleman is only sort of kind of briefly mentioned, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Even though it's the title of the song and the album. It's really, it's Baby Baby, It's a Wide World.
Yeah,
that's
what
you remember. Oh, Vardy. Anyway, we're kissing you almost like a child. That'd be weird when they get to that bit. But Leicester fans, that's your challenge to come up with a chant based on that. What about when Pep goes, it was my wife?
Yeah, texting or... Yeah, it was the start of the interview.
Yeah, Pep, the City manager, said you go, who's that texting you? Is it to do the game? No, it's my wife.
When I saw that, I thought, I wonder if that they've got to be bold, haven't they? These journalists who interview managers, and they've sometimes those managers do not enjoy some of the comments. So you must have a level of security in yourself. But I thought how nervous I would be saying to Pep, "Oh, who were you texting?" Because what if he said, "Oh, actually, there's
Why don't you
some-"
mind your own business?
exactly. Or that I've just had some terrible
Family
news.
members in
Why are you
hospital.
even going? We're talking about football, aren't we? Like, I'd be so nervous.
I'm
that-
ordering some more of those Hoover bag shoes that I wear famously.
Or another jumper with like a melted badge, which he wears seemingly
Why does he keep
every
doing
week now.
that?
I think I was looking it up earlier, and it's like it's a purposeful like product that it's like Manchester stuff or something. So maybe it's kind of
I don't think that what is suggested by a melting crest
No.
is good, because the crest is the stability
Right.
and the identity of the club.
Yeah.
And it melting,
Yeah.
even though I get it from an avant-garde kind of, ooh, this is cool, we're messing with it, man.
surrealist, Salvador Dali type.
Ooh,
Yeah.
we're walking the line now. City are so good. We can
Are we City or are we not?
Ooh, is it a telephone or is it a lobster? Ooh, man. Well, man, you're blowing my mind.
Is
Pep.
he a 9 or is he a false 9?
Whoa! Is it a 9 to the upside down? It's a 6. Whoa! Should we pay 100 million for Grealish, or should we get a recognised forward? Whoa! Like, why is he playing these mind games?
Yeah.
He's got Hoover bag shoes. He's got a melting crest on.
I actually, because I was looking up Manchester City kits, because I was determined to get to the bottom of what this melting badge was all about. Because
You really took it on yourself.
Well, the first time I saw him wearing it in an interview, I thought, maybe it was just, when they don't make dodgy versions of things, and maybe Pep saw it and thought, well, I like that. It's a bit novel, and I'll actually wear that. And I thought, it's a one-off. But he wears it almost every week now. So I thought, what is this? I want to know about it. What I came across was Manchester City's third kit. An article about their third kit this season doesn't have the badge on it. It says the words says Manchester City right across the front, and then Emirates, then the sponsor, and the badge is gone. And I thought, that's a bold decision for a third kit, for an actual kit, for them to remove the club badge. That is a big decision.
Under what circumstances are they going to be in a third? Right, they're playing someone. They can't wear blue. They can't wear white. What are they wearing? Who are they playing?
Yeah.
Lazio. I mean, like, who are they playing that they can't work? I mean, I think you should be able to solve all problems with two kits,
Surely.
shouldn't you? Like, we wear this or we wear that.
Yeah.
And I also think that the away kit should be a subtle reference to the home kit. Like, look
Agreed.
at yours and look at mine. I'm wearing West Ham home. You're wearing Hull away. The whole is simply inverted the black
colours.
and the orange.
Yep.
The West Ham
Amber.
typically Amber. Sorry, what I said was unforgivable. Like with the West Ham, always it's either a white, but there's claret and blue in there,
Yeah.
or it will favour the blue that is the second colour of the primary kit.
Yeah.
Now, even City, why? What is everyone doing? Or sometimes you get like Liverpool would wear yellow.
Yeah.
And you sort of, I come to accept it as a second colour.
Yeah.
And sometimes they would have the liver bird would be in yellow on the red kit. And you go, okay, I see what you're doing. You've got an image system. In a way, what we're doing is saying that there should be like a mood board
Yeah.
from which the kits are drawn. You can't do some mad abstract thing.
No, and that's exactly what they've done. They've gone beyond even abstract. I mean, they've removed the badge. It's mental. I always think designing kits, it's an interesting one, isn't it? From year to year, I mean, we referenced it the very first episode we did of this, of like, I mean, I think I'd said at the time, maybe slightly foolishly, that there were no kits this season that were better than there were last season. Maybe that's not quite true.
We
But
were out of control.
maybe I got carried away. But I do think there must be a plan behind kits being good one season and bad the next, in order to keep people buying kits. Because I remember once, like Arsenal a couple of seasons ago, they brought out a kit that everyone banged on about. It's the Adidas kit that harked back to the title winning kind of Alan Smith type era of Arsenal kit, and they did the famous yellow version as well. And Arsenal were on a good run at the time, and they were winning trophies. Arteta was there, and it was like, wow, this is peak Arsenal kit. Just keep this. And I noticed this season it's rubbish, and I think there must
they've
be
got them hooped socks.
there must be a plan of like, this season we'll do a good kit and next season we'll do a bad kit.
Well, I think I reckon it's not good bad. I reckon it's the constant need for change for marketing and sales reasons, and that means that there's a consideration every time. I mean, let's face it, the primary considerations are economic for the whole club, the whole of the time. So you get weird things where you're like, oh, did they buy that player from that territory because it's going to be good for business? There's all that sort of weird stuff goes on, different deals, different partnerships. Then it's selling different bits of the kit. Even the idea really that there's a sponsor on the shirt. That should be such a. It's weird, isn't it? Because the kit, like the team, is representative of the fans and of the community. The kit is what is the visual representation of that, you know, and the badge is the most concentrated bit. It's the nucleus. That's where it comes. That's its purest form. It all emanates out from that. And like once you start messing with that stuff on some subtle level, you feel like, stop messing with the essence of this club. You could do the seagulls there. That's like when the seagulls...
When the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines
Lorenzo.
will be thrown into the sea.
Lorenzo, sort out the backing tracks. Wait, does he listen even? Am I directly getting to
I
him?
don't think he does.
Stopped listening to it. Sick of being insulted.
Keeps crying. Yeah, kits. I went through a stage, I mean, I don't know if this is interesting, but I went through a stage of buying the training tops rather than the kits, because I like it when you have a kit that doesn't have a sponsor on it. You know, like Lazio never seem to have a sponsor. I was thinking, that's so cool. But you know what? It just doesn't feel the same having a training kit, because it doesn't give you the same kind of confidence.
Feeling.
Exactly.
You've got to get the feeling. You've got to get that down, yeah. Okay.
We should probably...
I think wrap it up.
We'll start to.
But firstly, though, I'm going to say this. Watford's manager
Yep.
looks like
It looks
a former
boy band member
of a moderately successful
boy
90s band.
Mate, I literally had the same... That's incredible.
There it is written down, Gal. We dream the same dream,
That's
you and
amazing.
me.
He really does, doesn't he? Spiky
Anthony
hair.
Costas, specifically from Blue.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like, that's the feeling of him.
He really does.
So what's going on there?
I don't know.
Why does he look like that? Also, he's got a little bit, he's a sort of a stocky fella, would
Yeah.
you call him?
Yeah. Interesting team, Watford. Had a very good result, didn't they, against Villa at the start of the season. And it's going to be like one of them up and down seasons.
Now, I was nearly going to say that Watford ain't a proper team, but like Watford,
Mate,
you
what
can
is
tell
this?
that their fans are proper, they're up for a row.
They're playing Norwich.
Oh,
Second.
there you go.
There we
Let's
go.
see what the atmosphere's like and what happens. How did you know that, Jengo?
I printed out your fixtures.
Well, oh, Jen.
Hey, I've got a couple of tweets I've got to get in.
Go on, get them in,
So-
because we want people to review the show, and we want you to tweet us at Football Is Nice. Use the hashtag Football Is Nice, and then like these people, your tweets will be read out on this fantastic podcast.
So what lengths have you gone to try and meet a player? I love these two. Paul T says, our PE teacher used to take us on trips to stalk Wales internationals in their hotel. Something that you definitely couldn't get away with now.
That shouldn't be on the curriculum.
Jason Kennedy says, this is commitment. I chose my student accommodation at the University of
They
Luton.
met gigs. That goes on, don't it?
It does. I
But
didn't
you
read
just-
the whole
you-
thing.
You step back from gigs.
No, not intentionally. I just thought.
You just thought, go another one now. I want to get through a few.
I chose my student accommodation at the University of Luton. Bold choice already, I would say.
Blimey.
Next to the airport, because the England team always flew back there, typically late at night, after an away game. I got to meet Bex and the rest that way. So our entire time, 3 years at university, possibly 4, was basically so that they could meet David Beckham. I mean, that really is commitment.
If you've already made the choice of going to a university in Luton,
Yeah, it'll be a high point.
yeah, possibly the most informative educational experience. Upcoming fixtures then, all right,
Yes.
Friday, Newcastle. Should we predict results?
Well, yeah, why not? Let's predict some results. I mean,
And then we'll go back to it and see if we won.
Love it. The big games are Sunday.
Well, only with Betway or 23bet or 12bet.
I don't know what
We're
this
against
is.
betting. I personally am an addict and I don't endorse betting unless it's for fun. And when the fun stops, stop.
Tap out.
Yeah, like really, it's so terrible, isn't it? The whole of that industry. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
Awful. We'll
Yeah.
do a video on our other job. Go on, mate.
Well, the big ones are Sunday, but you're going to go through Saturdays, and we're going to actually. You're going to write these down.
All right, I will.
Brilliant.
I'll write it down. Jen, you've got to keep these for next week, right? United, Newcastle United versus Leeds United.
Ooh.
I think away win for Leeds. I think
Yeah,
it's going to be
they're
2-1.
due a win. Yeah, I'll go with 3-1.
Oh, okay. And then Gareth can be this one over there. Oh no, 3-1. All right. Wolves Brentford. Who cares?
No, not at all.
That's a joke.
Tricky one this, because Wolves are hitting a bit of form. Apparently they've been playing well.
I'm going with 1-0.
Going 1-0. I think that's a good bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
See, I'm good, aren't I? You
yeah,
can go first on the next
that's
one
a
if you
good
want.
bet. Look, I'm going to go. In that case, I'm going to go with 1-0 to Wolves instead.
Go on, you go first on Burnley Arsenal. You take it too seriously.
I think I'm
You've got
going.
to go with your gut.
I'm going to say that Arsenal because I don't think they'll really get into trouble. So I'll go with Arsenal 1-0.
Oh, you think a 1-0 away win? But I'm going with that Arsenal are going to lose, and it's going to be 2-0 to Burnley.
Wow.
Liverpool, Palace, and they're always it's a grudge match. They cost them the league in the Rodgers season.
Always a big game. Liverpool at home.
Palace found form, beat Spurs 3-0.
Yeah, wasn't an anomaly. We don't know. I'm going to go for a Liverpool 2-0 win.
You say 2-0 Liverpool. Oh no, I did it the wrong way around. I've messed up the system.
Uh-oh.
Right, so this is Russell there. I'm just writing that because you said that. All right.
Stick with us, guys.
You think it's 2-0 Liverpool. I think it's 3-1 Liverpool. All right. City, Southampton.
Oh, I've got 3-0 City.
3-0 City for... Can I say the same as you?
Of course you can.
All right. Norwich v Watford. I think Watford are going to win 2... Oh, no. I think Watford are going to win 2-0.
I'm going to say 1-1.
1-1. Yeah, we know when you're predicting sports football scores, you never predict enough draws. But there's a lot of draws.
Yeah.
Because you think it's a moment where you've got to make a decision. So you're more decisive, and you forget that the game isn't always decisive. One of the other things that's beautiful about football that the Americans don't like are ties. There are ties. You can't have ties, man. Ties are wrong. You got to have everything resolved. Come on, we're bombing Iraq. What is it for this time? We got our reasons. No offence. Now
I'll take care of it.
That's that dealt with. Right, Villa v Everton.
Big game. Both in good form. Did you see that Andros Townsend goal against Burnley? Oh,
no, I'm so surprised
Monday
that
night.
Andros
So
Townsend,
good.
he's pulling out of the bag still.
He really is.
How's his hair now?
Free transfer. His hair's fantastic.
What's he gone for?
It's like it's like big and shaved at the sides, and it just looks brilliant.
Cool. So what are you saying? Away win for the Toffees?
I'm going to say 2-2.
2-2. I'm going to say I think Villa are going to win. Someone who's important to me supports Everton, and I like to see him riled. Okay, so I think 2-1 Villa. I always do too many 2-1s. Sunday's games, Brighton v Leicester. Brighton are playing well, aren't
They're
they?
playing very well.
What's
3
he all
wins
about,
up.
Graham Potter?
Well, it's
What's he
interesting.
all like, all slim?
People have said for a while
He's good and he's going to be
Potter's
good.
a tactical genius, a very good tactical manager and a modern manager. I think he got slightly under the radar because of his demeanour. He's very calm, isn't he? But there was a lot of talk about him potentially going to Spurs over the summer. Apparently he was one of the ones, I don't know if they considered him. But it looks like one for the future. And yeah, 3 wins out of 4 for Brighton. That it looks like they've done very well to get him.
Do you think that the name Graham Potter don't have enough glamour?
It's a bit drab.
Nunes! I've got this beard. I'm a bit of Rasputin.
Yeah. That could be it, mate.
It's like Moneyball, isn't it? Everything's like Moneyball. Like before, the point of Moneyball was using data analytics to choose players in baseball rather than the other various factors that were influential. And in Moneyball, they realised that they were used. They've got a good-looking wife.
Yeah.
Like things like that are mental factors in it. So I think it's really hard for human beings to wrench yourself away from those kind of contributory factors.
And visuals are a big part of it.
Graham Potter, like he's an Alan Bennett character.
Well, I think you're right. Certainly when you're considering the fans' reaction.
Why don't you call him Zach Lightning?
Right.
And then it's like,
He might have got the Spurs job.
Zach Lightning.
Yeah.
Have a jingle.
Yeah, you could say that, the Spurs fans wouldn't have been enthused about Graham Potter taking over. And I don't think they were overly enthused about Nuno. But it seems to have worked so far, doesn't it?
What if it's Harry Potter? Oh, no, he's all right. Because if Voldemort starts, he's the one person we can rely on. Yeah, okay. So what do you think, Brighton v Leicester, mate?
I'm going to go for a Leicester win.
What score?
1-0 Leicester.
1-0 Leicester, whereas I'm going to say that Brighton are going to win 1-0. So West Ham v Man U. We're at home, of course.
Look, I think West Ham...
Antonio got sent off.
So he must be... He's got one match ban,
he's
right?
banned. He's not playing.
That's
Jared Bowen up front. If we beat United, I would love it. I would love it if we beat them.
I'll tell you, honestly, I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
Because it'll derail the Ronaldo train.
Yeah.
Which it's not like I'm on board. I'm on board. It's not like I'm not on board the Ronaldo train.
Yeah.
But this is West Ham now.
Well, it's a classic fixture, this now. There's been some amazing
We've beat them a
games.
few times.
Yeah.
We've beat them in important moments.
That's
Perhaps
right.
we've spoiled United's party before. We've spoiled it again. Although we went up 2-0 away against them last season and then they came back and they won.
Yeah, but there was that one where the ball, I think it was out. that looked like it should have gone out for a throwing, and I don't know if you remember that, but anyway.
I don't remember that particular detail.
I am not sure that West Ham without Antonio can do this.
You don't back Jared Bowen, former whole player, when it comes to the crunch? You don't think Bowen can step up?
Of course he can. Do anything, Jared Bowen.
He can do what he want to do.
Man U 2-1.
All right, 2-1 Man U, you're saying. I say West Ham are going to win this game. We won't win by more than 1 goal. It won't be 1-0. West Ham 3-2. Why am I saying this? I don't believe that any bit of my being. Spurs Chelsea, great game.
Great game.
Chelsea going to kill them.
They are.
So what, 3-0 Chelsea?
Yeah, I think that's
We've both gone for 3-0.
I think that's a good prediction. I think there's a feeling around Chelsea, isn't it, at the moment?
This is going to tie us to the thing more, but it also does it make the podcast more boring, or does it make it good?
I wondered that as we went through all the
Because the thing
fixtures.
is, if you're listening to it, you're like, who cares? You can get this anywhere.
Yeah,
but perhaps we won't always do it. But
maybe we should pick like the 3 top games,
right, and then just see it. All right, that's a good idea. We won't ever do that to you again. If you were bored, you were right, we were wrong. Jen, was you a bit bored?
No, it wasn't that boring.
That's the kindest thing she's ever said to us.
Hey, before we go, I'll just tell you one thing about League.
You do some good work. So I love your observation about the studio of BT Sports. And I like that you investigated City's badge. Like, you're actually doing things that are interesting.
I mean,
so always make sure you get those things out. Don't ever have in the back of your mind,
right,
oh no, Russell's talking, because that's how he deals with reality, by talking at it. Say, stop, I've got this thing. And I'll go, all right, cool. So then that will be reality, and I'll sprung to that.
We see what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to adopt your technique of full circles.
Oh.
So I'm coming back to Ronaldo, which is how we kicked things off.
Go
on. So everyone's talked about.
Before I wipe this, how undignified does it make me look?
He's got porridge down his chin, everyone.
Oh, it's awful. That's what the end of my life's going to be like.
Rosebud. Porridge.
Rosebud. Yes, Mr. Brad, could you wipe this porridge off my chin? I look undignified. Yeah, my name's actually Steve. All right, anyway, just get the porridge off my chin.
There's a reference.
That's Citizen Kane. Have you ever seen it?
I have, yeah, absolutely. I went to a double bill of Orson Welles films at the.
What was the other one?
It was
Third Man.
It was the Magnificent Ambersons. No, it wasn't. It was the Magnificent Ambersons.
Was it all right? Were you a bit bored? Be honest.
I tell you what, it was when I first came to London, and I found out that things like double bills at the Curzon cinema happened on a Sunday morning. No, it was the one. The one near Leicester Square or Covent Garden, that one. Yeah. Anyway, anyone who doesn't know about the Curzon cinemas,
double bills.
Yeah, they were great. It made me feel like.
Ever go to the Rocky Horror Show late at night in that one off Leicester Square? I went once. It was mental. You ever been that, Jen?
No.
Why don't you participate?
I don't live in London anymore.
Oh yeah, you live by the sea, don't you? Just staring out at the inky darkness.
Yeah. With
the darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, this thing about Ronaldo coming full circle, and we've kind of been told a lot about. I know certain former United players have said he's going to be such an influence on the rest of the squad, and he'll be in terms of a positive influence on the rest of the squad. There's an example of this from Lee Grant, who is United's, I think, 3rd choice keeper. Maybe 4th, but I'll say 3rd.
Bloody hell.
I know. Well, I guess they've got Henderson and De Gea, haven't they, who kind of fight it out for first.
Yeah, the Henderson De Gea fight off.
So I think he's 3rd. Anyway, so he's given a quote, and this might have been to TalkSport this week, where he said, "I'll give you one instance of the impact he's having on the group right." I don't think he means in the right way. I think he just means right.
Makes it sound like he's been quite confrontational.
Yeah, I wouldn't have left this in.
Right.
The quote. I would have taken that out. Friday night in the hotel, as you'd be aware, you finish your dinner, and usually on a Friday night, you've got a few cheat stuff out.
Well, like biscuits.
Right. I didn't know what he meant by cheat stuff out.
Yeah, cheat day.
It's there you go. But you wouldn't have thought at Man United. I thought we'd,
Don't cheat. Like when he did that wink and got Rooney sent off. Okay, when we do cheating. I'm not going to do Ronaldo, not after we had Conor Moore on.
But, I wouldn't have thought that they still eat cheat food at United.
They're just lads.
They're just lads. It's kind of endearing.
And they're not all like Ronaldo. What did Ronaldo do? Goes, we gathered them all up and threw them in the bin.
Well, here we go. So Lee Grant goes on to say, you've got an apple crumble and custard, or a brownie and cream, some dessert stuff. Basically. Good examples. They're classics. And then he says, I'll tell you now, not one player touched the apple crumble and custard. Not one player went up for that brownie, because everyone was sat down on our table for pre-match, and straight away one of the players said to me, What's Cristiano got on his plate? Obviously, it's the most clean, healthy plate you can imagine, and not one single player dared get up and take that junk food on which was laid out.
Whoa,
I thought, wow,
Ronaldo.
no one's having pudding.
I heard this thing that, like, after they got back from a European game when he was at Rail, like, when they got back, and I guess they were on private jet or whatever, and they had a game a couple of days later for the weekend game, and Ronaldo's like, come on, we're going to the ice baths. Like, he goes to the ice bath. Remember at Real Madrid, they got progressive things. Like, they got ice baths. They got little pods to sleep in the day. Oh, I'm tired. Go in a pod. Ronaldo, he's not taking no shit.
No.
Get in the pod. Get in the ice bath. Don't have no apple crumble.
Yeah,
Ronaldo.
And they all follow.
I'm surprised they have apple crumble.
That's what
I
I
thought.
thought.
They think it is.
I know, like 1982.
We got our new manager, Graham Potter, right? Whoever scores the most goals or assists, you can have yourself apple crumble. Then I'll ride me bike uphill and I'll take you all home. Sorry. All right, I'm trying my hardest. Gal, would you say that constitutes a brilliant episode of football? It's nice.
Surely it does, doesn't it?
Let's offer a rallying call to... Oh, hold on. We've forgotten to buy a football club. I've told you, we're supposed to be buying one. I wanted to get Grays Athletic. Why won't someone come forward and say, buy our football club or support our football club? Because what we'd do is we'd start a campaign. We'd get a damn football club bought, we would, and that would save something. Could be kids, could be walking football like Jenny goes on. You been doing any more walkie football?
No, I'm a bit shy.
What? Oh, hold on. Why? Why don't you? Have you been shutting down? Are you participating in life at the moment? You've gone to the sidelines, haven't you? Get back in the middle of the match.
No, because I'm scared to run around because you have to walk.
I got an ankle injury.
Oh, that wasn't a metaphor.
No.
Oh, I see. You mean literally?
It's difficult because you're being tackled by like 65-year-old men, but you can't run.
They can't sliding tackle because a sliding tackle from a walk, you'd actually literally been sitting down.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? You'd go down in a vertical
One
plane.
time...
Were you put off by the Harvey Elliott injury this week? Is that what it was, Jen?
No, but one of the trainings, the 80-year-old guy got hit in the head with the football. And it made me really sad.
That's not good.
Like
He should wear a diver's helmet.
Yeah, it was like... yeah.
He should do like Jimenez's headwear. Jimenez headwear.
Jimenez headwear.
The Wolves forward, right?
What does he wear?
Well, because he
One of them Peter Cech things with the ear rolls out.
Yeah.
I don't know about them.
I watch him and I think, as a striker, especially wearing one of those, the difference that it must make to
your peripheral vision.
Exactly, and your confidence to head a ball properly. It must be very...
Well, you think it appreciate?
No, I don't think it
deteriorate.
does, because it's like an extra bit of head that you've suddenly got. Do you know what I mean?
Because yourself an extra skull.
Yeah.
An exo skull.
So you've learnt your entire life to play football and head a ball in a certain way based upon how your head feels.
Is it cushioned?
I bet it is cushioned.
Got to be, because it's got to absorb shock.
What must that do to you? You must have to relearn playing a certain certainly heading the ball, but also like it just must feel weird. Like Cech, I felt like it was okay because it's a goalkeeper. He's pretty static, and
he's not using his head.
Exactly.
The goalkeeper is never going to head a ball. The head is a substitute for the arms in heading of the ball.
Yeah, and even as like a defender, it maybe gives you a kind of that Rudiger, like wears that mat. I think we were talking about masks earlier, and it gives you maybe a kind of presence about you or something. But as a striker, I can only imagine that must be really annoying to suddenly have this thing on your head.
It'd be like wearing a whalebone petticoat from the 1800s.
Exactly,
like those
that.
petticoats that go. It's called a farthingale. I think.
Yes.
Like it would be your dome, like a toilet roll holder made out of wool. You know those toilet rolls. You put them in there, and it's that lady, and then she's Spanish looking, and she's got a dress on.
Yeah.
Like imagine you playing that, and your legs are scuttling around under there like a swan, like a swan's feet under the water.
Yeah.
I don't know that he should be doing that, but like in the future, I took my kid to school and she wanted to hang out and play football afterwards, running around all the little kids playing football and stuff, and like she done a header, and the headmaster said, "Oh, they'll probably ban that soon."
Right.
Headers. Yeah. Probably they will they?
Probably will.
It's probably not good. I mean, it's one of those things that's sneaking out. That head injuries, it's like, it's not good. They've all gone, there's all incidents of violence and like, as in like people going to do lally and that, aren't there?
That's the medical term.
Oh, yeah, sadly he went to Lally, and that's the result. We think that he did that murder. All right, yeah.
Right then, 100 minutes.
Football is nice. Send us a review on Apple or on Spotify or wherever you do your reviews. Tweet us with the football is nice thing. Help us take over a club. Ask questions. Get involved. Well, do you think our predictions were right? You can join in a variety. Don't smile at me like I'm a man very much about to be wheeled off into a home.
Do lally.
Oh, do lally. Thanks for joining us on Football is Nice.